Welcome to the top 25 stories of 2025 from Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
2025 has been one of the most dramatic years for the LGBTQ community. Hotspots Magazine Happening Out television network shared more than 2,500 stories about and for our LGBTQ community. We don't know what 2026 will bring, so we thought we would finish our year by looking back. Of those 2,500 stories, let's look at the top 25 stories of 25. This curated list is drawn from Queer News Tonight, The FayWhat Show, Queer God Squad, and Hotspots Magazine. This was what was important to all of us in 25 of 2025. Let's queer up the top stories of the year. This is number 4 of 2025. Zohran Mamdani makes history as NYC's first socialist mayor and LGBTQ+ ally. November 5th, we discussed New York City mating history by electing Zohran Mamdani as mayor. The 34-year-old progressive and longtime LGBTQ+ ally won after a youth-driven grassroots campaign focused on affordability and equality. His victory raised questions about what this election signals for next fall's critical midterm races.
I'm Kevin Lee, and let's queer up politics. Zohran Mamdani makes history as New York City's first socialist mayor and LGBTQ+ ally. It's official, Zohran Mamdani has been elected as the next mayor of New York City, making history as a progressive voice and longtime LGBTQ+ ally. The 34-year-old Democratic Socialist defeated former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican nominee Curtis Sliwa after a grassroots campaign driven by young voters. The Associated Press called the election in Mamdani's favor shortly after 9:30 p.m. Tuesday. Mamdani's platform focused on affordability and equality, from free buses and universal childcare to rent-frees and city-owned grocery stores. His promises to LGBTQ+ New Yorkers include expanding gender-affirming care with a $65 million investment, creating an Office of LGBTQIA+ affairs, and strengthening sanctuary protections for queer and trans residents. As a state representative, Mamdani backed the repeal of the Walking While Trans law, co-sponsored the Gender Recognition Act, and voted for New York's SHIELD law protecting access to gender-affirming care. The big question on yesterday's election is, what does New York City mayor and elections in Virginia, New Jersey, and California forecast for next fall's vitally important midterm elections? Well, interesting story. I see a little bit of kindness in the world showing up, right? A little bit of positivity. Yeah. I'm very happy. I like when people shake things up. You know, yeah. I may be from Texas, I may be white, but let me tell you, I like when the good old boys get shaken up, and this gentleman is so diverse. That's what I love about this story. Yeah. He comes from, if I'm not mistaken, is it India?
Okay, so
his mother's Hindu.
Right.
He identifies as Muslim.
Yes.
And
he lived in Uganda.
That's where it was.
As a young child.
Kid, yes.
Before Idi Amin ousted all the South Asian
people. Girl, you know your Wikipedia, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's her history, too. So
I love it. I love it. But you know what's interesting is that this gentleman has served on a state level, city level. This gentleman is for the people. I love the fact that he is just so different. He's just like I said earlier, winter, people keep saying winter's coming with this guy coming into office. Yeah. But you know what? For me, he's like a breath of fresh air. He's spring to me.
Yeah.
Because he is literally an example of the youth. He literally is the youth. He's 34 years old.
34 years old.
He is the next generation of politicians, of spiritual leaders.
Yeah.
You know, in many ways, he is a spiritual leader, right?
Yeah.
Because he's willing to connect with multiple religions, he's willing to go and represent communities that aren't typically represented in political fights and in political elections. So I just celebrate this guy.
And the grassroots folks need a win.
Yes.
Right? They haven't
Right.
had a win for a long time. So to have a grassroots organization get this guy elected, we can look across the country at grassroots organizations and say, okay, there's a win. Let's get back to work.
Well, and that's kind of what we said at this table when Trump took office, was that grassroots need to reinvent themselves, right? We have to go back to knocking on the doors and hitting the pavement. And that's basically what he did, right? Like Sunday night, he was at Papi Chulo. He was at gay bars till 1 in the morning. He was in Brooklyn hanging out with the hip hop kids. Like, he was all over, right? And he wants that to happen. He wants you to feel seen, right? All of a sudden. But it's like, and people are like, well, but why would you support a socialist? Because he's not a sex offender like Cuomo. How about that? I mean, like, one thing, like, I don't need much more than that, He did a beautiful video representing from the peers, right? Talking about Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson. No one even looked at our transgender history as history, right? And he's there saying, I know this happened here. I know Marsha P. got killed here, where she would work here. And I would love to have an office that represents all of the folks that are two-spirited, LGBTQIA+, right? And he's going to bring that to life.
And I think they use that whole socialist thing as a scare tactic, because every society, you can disagree with me, but I think all societies need socialist programs, because the fact is life is not an equal playing field.
Not anymore. It's not.
No, so you have people that for whatever reason need help.
Yep.
Okay, and so I think they just use that, but I absolutely feel, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I get such a caring and loving vibe from him, and I feel like he truly cares about the poor and the middle class. I feel like he's trying his best to be inclusive.
Right.
Last night, during his acceptance speech, he said, "This is for the abuelas, and this is for the Somalian cab drivers, and this is for the Trinidadian aunties." And he said, and the transgender people. He talked about the Jewish people and how, he wants to really stand up against anti-Semitism. He talked about Islamophobia, and he said also transphobia, because he talked about how our community, we deal with a lot of discrimination. So who has stood up and said that stuff in recent times?
You can count them in one hand.
Yeah.
We needed that.
So I know he's married.
She's beautiful, by the way. Can we talk about the first lady? She is really pretty.
Beautiful. But I know he's married, but listen, I can still have a crush. And when he said shout out to the trans people, I was like, oh my God, I love him.
Raji was like, shout out back, boo. So honestly, if fighting for rent freezes and trans rights makes you a socialist, then baby, pour me a red mocktail and call me Comrade Faye. All right? Because I am here for it. Like, like I was telling Ty before the show, New York is that place that once a New Yorker, you're always a New Yorker. If your license ever had New York on it, then you just left a piece of yourself there. I mean, it just is how it is, right? And like like you said, he's calling out people that are not usually felt seen.
Exactly.
These people can see themselves in him. Communities are recognized by him just standing up and being positive. How does he salute people? What's he doing?
Oh, yes.
Oh, and this is what I absolutely love about him. Oh, I have a crush. Anyway, when he's trying to show people like respect and love, and he'll wave, and then he'll take his hand and
like that.
Pat his heart.
I can do that.
And he does it. Look at the videos. You might not believe me, but look at those videos. He's always doing it. He's always touching his heart.
Amazing.
Like, my love to you. My love to you all. Yes.
Yeah. No, and he just seems so considerate, respectful, and appreciative, right?
Yes.
One last thing, right? Authentic. Thank you. Right. And isn't that all we're trying to be in our community, is just be who we really are? And he's being able to do that. Right?
And I loved how he said, we beat the, I think he said the empire, the corruptive empire, and like, it was like, because By the way, Trump did say if he wins, I don't know if you all heard this, that he was going to stop federal funding to New York.
Yes, I heard that.
And he was like, in other words.
We will see. We will see. Again, also, Ron DeSantis says now with his win, we're going to get most of the outpour of people coming down here to Florida, right? So, I mean, again, let's just see whatever it is will be, but it gives us hope.
And he's not anti-Semitic. Stop. People keep saying that. He's not. Just because you stand with the people of Palestine doesn't mean that you're anti-Jew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
You can have compassion for both.
And we have had Jewish people at this table say just that.
Yeah.
So it's sad that unfortunately he's automatically like, like the email I was telling you folks before the show that, I get bad comments. I get hate mail. I don't care. Keep sending it. I enjoy it. It's funny as shit. But I've never had something like, when I posted my happiness about his victory, about hope, about the future, about what this could look like, right? I got awful hate mail back, and from people saying things like, he really wants you dead, and I've never experienced something like that before, right? So I was kind of taken aback, but instead of being sad about it, it just made me think that this guy's got so much power, and these people are so afraid that it takes this to happen. So keep it coming, and like I said, Comrade Faye. That's
Let's queer up the top stories of the year. This is number 3 of 2025. Jonathan Bailey makes history as People's first out gay sexiest man alive. Jonathan Bailey made history by becoming People's Sexiest Man Alive for 2025, the first openly gay man to earn the title. On September 5th, we took a look at the actor's acclaimed roles and visible advocacy highlighted a broader shift in representation, redefining leading man appeal through authenticity, talent, and purpose.
Jonathan Bailey makes history as People's first out gay sexiest man alive. Jonathan Bailey just made history. Following his breakout as Lord Anthony Bridgerton, the openly gay actor and philanthropist has officially been named People's Sexiest Man Alive for 2025. The first out gay man ever to hold the title. From his passionate role as Tim Lachlan in Fellow Travelers to playing Fiyero in Wicked and Dr. Henry Loomis in Jurassic World Rebirth, Bailey continues to redefine leading man charm and frickin' good looks. Through his work with the Shameless Fund, Bailey proves that sexiness is about authenticity, heart, and using fame for good. I'm just going to drool at the pictures for another 5 minutes, please. That's really all I got for you. I have loved him since I first saw him in he did some stuff for like BBC TV when I would spend my summers in the UK, and I would, I would see him back then. And then when he finally started to break out here, I was like, it's about time because this boy is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was always crossed my fingers that he was gay.
Where's the woof button on this?
Yeah.
I know, right?
Woof.
Congratulations to Jonathan Bailey.
Yes, and all of us, Raji, because he's the first out gay man to hold that spot. So right now, for me, he's representing all of us. Because Wicked was the gayest movie ever. And because of him, so many people have named their dogs Fiyero. Okay, I have a dog boarding company. Too many dogs named Fiyero now, all right? But I love it. I love it.
What strikes me is like we have all this negative stuff happening against the LGBTQ community, but then we have moments like this where we make strides, and so these are like really inspirational, motivational moments for us.
Amen.
Well,
let's queer up the top stories of the year. This is number 2 of 2025. Is the next gay-themed Tryst hotel coming to Wilton Drive? We looked at exciting rumors on December 2nd. Tryst hotels may plan to bring luxury LGBTQ+ hospitality to Wilton Drive. The Tryst Wilton Manors was planned as a boutique hotel and social destination, signaling continued investment in one of America's most visible queer neighborhoods. While details remained limited, anticipation across the community was unmistakable.
I'm Jeff Oliverio, and let's queer up gay culture. Is the next gay-themed Tryst Hotel coming to Wilton Drive? Tryst Hotels has exclusively communicated to Hotspots Happening Out that the global leader in luxury LGBTQ+ travel and nightlife is preparing to bring its next big project to Wilton Drive. Details were shared yesterday in private conversations. The company has announced the Tryst Wilton Manors, a new gay luxury boutique hotel and social destination planned for the heart of the city. Founder and CEO Tryst Schulcraft, who fell in love with Wilton Manors while serving as Grand Marshal of the Stonewall Pride Parade, has agreed to purchase land on Wilton Drive. Schulcraft, who also owns Mr. and maintains an office on Wilton Drive, says the project will bring the brand's signature mix of indulgence, design, and big gay energy to one of America's most beloved queer neighborhoods. Tryst hospitality is rapidly expanding, with one hotel already open in Puerto Vallarta and new properties coming in San Juan and Fire Island. The Wilton Manors location is expected to move into its design and development phase once real estate transactions close for early next year. For now, there are no details, no timeline, no design plans, and city officials say they know nothing yet about what's coming. But Tryst promises to keep the community informed, engaged, and a little bit excited. Queer News Tonight executive producer Al Ferguson has sourced many individuals connected with this developing story. He reports that a group of investors have formed with Tryst Schulcraft's Tryst Hotels, and they will purchase as many as 4 tracts of land on Wilton Drive, including Johnson Nightclub, Art Frenzy, and Wilton Executive Suites, which was the former anchor of SunServe. Ferguson reports that a source who wished not to be identified said when Tryst Schulcraft was Grand Marshal at Hotspot's Happening Out's June Stonewall Pride Parade, there was a meeting with the Manor. The sale of the club was offered for an 8-figure amount. The location of today's news is directly across the street from the Manor. Ferguson cautiously advises that the story is rapidly developing. Follow updates at Tryst Hotels and Queer News Tonight. Listen, anything that Tristan touches certainly turns to gold. He has built this little mini LGBTQ travel empire. I actually went to the Tryst Hotel in Puerto Vallarta. It was the week before their actual grand opening, where they had, I don't know how many celebrities were there, from Jennifer Coolidge to, Real Housewives. He had Demi Lovato. I mean, everyone under the sun. It was the place to be seen. Obviously purchasing the Fire Island property of one of the most iconic gay, and then being the owner of the Abbey in West Hollywood, which was not, mentioned in the story. He is, rapidly gobbling up the queer key properties across the globe, really. So I would be really excited to see him bringing what he does here to Wilton Drive. And I will say the experience staying at the Tryst, a lot of times, I don't know if any of you have stayed at some LGBTQ only hotels. Sometimes the service could be not as up to the standard, because it's like, oh, it's only for gay people. So they don't have the service standards at the Tryst were impeccable. It was an amazing stay. So,
well, I look forward to their opening.
And it's nice to see somebody that has a little bit of connection to the local community and has been to Wilton Manors, and involving locals also that are interested and are looking forward to the future and uplifting our community in Wilton Manors.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, they do support the community. I mean, the reason I was staying at the Tryst, they donated a stay to the Task Force Gala, which I bid on and won, which was one of the other reasons. And Mr. is a sponsor for My Hollywood Pride this year, so I reached out to them, and they have been always accommodating to say yes, however they can, to support the community and give back. So I think it's great.
Well, Tryst Hotel, welcome to Wilton Manors.
Let's queer up the top stories of the year. This is number 1 of 2025. RuPaul's Drag Race returns with 14 new queens and a promise of light for season 18. Exciting news on December 3rd. RuPaul's Drag Race prepared its return with season 18, bringing 14 new queens, a $200,000 prize, and the message, "In shady times, let there be light." The legacy-filled premiere celebrated reinvention, diversity, and drag excellence, setting the stage for another iconic chapter.
I'm Edward Otto Zelke, and let's queer up drag culture. RuPaul's Drag Race returns with 14 new queens and a promise of light for season 18. RuPaul's Drag Race sachets back to TV screens this January 2026, bringing fresh faces, fierce fashion, and its new guiding mantra, "In shady times, let there be light." Season 18 lands on MTV with 14 new queens entering the workroom to compete for the coveted title of America's Next Drag Superstar, a dazzling $200,000 cash prize. The premiere episode kicks off with a challenge rooted in legacy and reinvention. titled Reclaim, Renew, Rejoice. It asks the queens to pay tribute to drag race icons by transforming leftover treasures from the show's vaults in their own signature looks, putting charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent front and center. Among the standout contestants are Miami's own Athena Dion, drag mother to Morphine Love Dion and Juicy Love Dion, who is also competing. West Palm Beach brings us Mia Starr. They join a diverse cast representing cities across the country, from Miami, Boston, Seattle, and New York to Denver, Orlando, and Montgomery. Right after the premiere, fans can dive deeper into with RuPaul's Drag Race Untucked at 9:30 p.m., serving up backstage tension and heartfelt moments as the queens await their fate. I think this is my favorite time of the year, when the new season of Drag Race comes out. It follows right after the holidays, and it just continues with my spirit, because you know what? We desperately need some joy, and this season sounds pretty amazing. And just the fact that they're doing like a reclaim, renew, rejoice, it sounds like, you know, they're really revving up the troops with this season.
Well, and the mantra, let's talk about the mantra. I love that. In shady times, let there be light. Like, don't we need that like on t-shirts and like everywhere we go? Because that's like so what we feel, you know? So I was watching The View this morning, and they always end The View with, we're in this together, you know? Like, do not worry, we're in this together. So I love mantras like this to just remind us that we're not alone, you know? Now, speaking of not being alone, like, this is the 18th season of RuPaul's Drag Race, okay? Miami queens, South Florida queens weren't even on the show for like the first 12 or 13 years, guys. Okay, sorry for getting out of frame, Steve. I get excited, right? And then now it's like they've opened the floodgates, and like you're not going to be able to stop us now, you know? Mia Starr is amazing. She's a South Florida queen. She lives in West Palm Beach. She's always down here in Fort Lauderdale and always in Miami, doing her thing, spreading her love and showing her talent. Incredibly talented girl, all right? Then we go and we move on to Juicy. Juicy is a beautiful woman. She does her makeup incomparable. Nobody can step up to that. Plus, she's an incredible dancer, right? To win RuPaul's Drag Race, you have to be able to know how to make your own clothing, dance, keep up, be funny, and be also an actor. I mean, there's so much, and you know, of course, the lip sync and everything else, your stage presence, but it takes a lot to be America's next drag superstar, right? And Juicy and Mia have that. Then we talk about one of my really good friends, Athena Dion, right? Athena has been on The View. She's Anna Navarro's favorite drag queen, okay? She has represented us everywhere she goes in such an incredible way. Athena looks young and beautiful because she's a Greek goddess underneath all of that makeup, right? But she's been doing drag for almost 11, 12 years. That experience, that know-how, right? They might think of her as not a threat because of, you know, her youth looking, right? Or maybe her demeanor, because she's also, you know, she comes across as very nice, but she could be a conniving, cutthroat bitch. And these people don't know that. You know what I mean? Like, she's a mom to like 10 or 12 kids. Like, there's drag kids coming out of her everywhere. That uterus of hers must be just flaying in the wind at this point with how many kids come out of her.
Well, she need to snatch up her girl Plain Jane, because, you know, I got beef with her. But I think this is the first... Is this the first Drag Race where they have the mother and daughter on the same season?
First season.
That's going to be a really interesting dynamic, because, you know, they're always trying to figure out their strategy.
Yes.
So they're already probably have a target on their back, because they're already going to be in an alliance.
Yeah, they're going to want to split them up.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I thought for Project Runway. Okay, Project Runway's last season with Utica, love you Utica, had twins in it. They were brothers, right? And the whole entire, it's like having two here competing instead of one, because one would help the other, you know, during all the testing or whatever, right? Well, those two brothers ended up in the finale and nobody was able to get them out, you know? So,
well, there's talent too. Yeah. So talent,
100%.
You know.
100%.
And I'm going to echo what you guys said. And I love that this theme is about bringing some light, because they know that there's a lot of darkness in the world, especially around LGBTQ plus issues.
Yep.
So I love that they're going to put a focus on that. And I hope it's going to be more about just having fun and just being happy. Because I have been going through all of my old TV shows that I used to watch to try to bring me some happiness because there's so much garbage on television, all the political shows, and I'm a news junkie, so I'm always watching that.
Yeah.
And then I finished Desperate Housewives, I finished True Blood, and I'm like, the only thing left now I saw on Netflix was the Ed Gein documentary. It's what they they base like Buffalo Bill and the.
It's not exactly a holiday movie, but
yeah.
Isn't that about a serial killer?
Yeah.
All right, please don't mess up my segment by veering off into something else. Go back to RuPaul's Drag Race, please.
So that and Black Mirror is what I've been watching. So I'm desperately waiting for RuPaul's Drag Race. And it's been a while. Like normally there's always something going on.
But I remember, but I think they're also coming out with a movie too. I think.
Yes, they are.
That Glamazon.
Yes, they're coming out with. Can you believe that they're coming out with a movie also next year as well?
I just feel like, please, RuPaul, don't leave us for like this amount of time anymore. we need to keep this going. Like we're dying here.
No, you gotta feed the gays. You gotta feed the gays.
Yeah. Keep those crazy videos going. They're absolutely hilarious. You know, when he's out there just being himself.
Just being him.
Being him. Yeah. That's what we need.
RuPaul Charles, we love you. Okay, keep doing what you do. You have given our girls an incredible platform and ability to make their own careers and give themselves a future. I know girls that are on their third piece of property. All right, okay. So thank you, RuPaul, for all you've done and continue to do, and congratulations to our hometown girls that are going to be competing. Athena won't tell me anything. She's never been so quiet about anything, all right?
I was so happy they showed that picture of the two of you at the ball.
Oh, yes.
She was at the ball last month, and I was so thrilled.
She needs some glasses.
So congratulations to all of them.
Yes, congratulations.
We're looking back at the top LGBTQ news stories of the year from Queer News Tonight. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform. Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight. We'll see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ+ world, we wish you a good night.